Equity and inclusion are vital for the City of Greensboro's ability to grow and innovate in such a fast-changing environment. One Greensboro is a monthly show that highlights some of the ways the Office of Equity and Inclusion honors the observances listed on our Heritage Calendar and spotlights a City of Greensboro employee in a segment we call The One. These observances are an integral part of the National Equal Employment Opportunity and Civil Rights Program and encourage us to live as one people, one community, one Greensboro.
Today's episode of One Greensboro, we will focus on Hispanic Heritage Month. We'll go into our community and speak to two of our prominent Hispanic Latino leaders so we can find out exactly what Hispanic Heritage Month is all about and exactly what we can do to help make Greensboro better as far as Hispanic heritage outreach. As always, we will also have our normal episode of The One, where we will showcase one of our own Hispanic Latino employees here at the City of Greensboro. We are here at Daystar Church, and it is so exciting to continue our journey on Hispanic Heritage Month and our celebration of finding out about our various cultures here in Greensboro. And I'm so very thrilled to be at our Spanish campus here at Daystar Church, and I'm with Pastor David Duarte, and I am so thrilled to talk to him. Hello, Pastor.
Thank you very much. Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Now, Pastor, you've got to tell me, because I know it's got to be a Spanish. I haven't taken Spanish in a long time, but how do you say Daystar Church in Espanol?
Yeah, the name we use is Daystar en Español.
So just simply Daystar in Espanol.
Daystar en Español, that's how we make reference to this camp.
Wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit about your role here as pastor and what you do here at this campus.
Yeah, basically what I do is I lead the Hispanic Latino congregation of this church. We are a very diverse church, and one of the things that we do is reach out to the Latino community. So I lead the campus for that congregation.
Wonderful. And I know this section of town, I know it quite well. I went to Smith High School right up the street, so I know several of these neighborhoods. Tell us how you outreach and where do most of your members come from in the Greensboro community, especially in this area?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that most of our people come from this neighborhood.
Okay.
However, we've been intentional about reaching out to this community with different events and resources that we do have. But most of our people, they do not come from this neighborhood.
Okay.
But hopefully in the future we can make a difference.
Absolutely.
We are intentional about making a difference in this neighborhood.
Wonderful. So how would you describe the Hispanic Latino culture here in Greensboro and also, as you said, in the surrounding area?
I would say it's a very diverse community. We cannot say like all Hispanics are alike, all Latino are the same. I know that it's easier sometimes to refer like Mexicans.
Yes.
Are you Mexican, or what part of Mexico are you from? But actually we have so many different countries. In our church, on a regular average Sunday, we have around 16 different countries represented here.
Wow.
All the way from Mexico, United States of America, the Caribbean, Central America, and South America. Wow. So it is a very diverse community. And we love our traditions, we love our culture, we love our country. And most of the people that I know are honest, working families that they came here to find a better life.
Wonderful. So what I'm hearing you say is Hispanic culture is not just from September 15th to October 15th. You all celebrate, especially at this church, all year long.
Oh,
and
yes.
It sounds like you do it well.
Yes, we
Wonderful.
try to make intentional that celebrations that we do as a church. As a matter of fact, in Thanksgiving, we do what we call an international dinner, where we ask each of our countries to bring a traditional dish from where they come from.
Wow.
Since most of our country, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Exactly. It's not a holiday for us.
Exactly.
So when we come to America, we're facing those new traditions here. So it's lovely. It's great to see all the different cultures and food, especially sharing with other people.
Wow. So do I have an invite on Thanksgiving? Can I come?
You do have an invite. It's open to the public. However, with COVID this year, we're going to have to innovate and do something different.
Okay, well, just please let me know.
Yes.
Because one, I love to eat, and two, I kind of love to cook. So we can kind of talk about that
amazing.
later. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you feel we can recognize, especially in the city of Greensboro, some of our more notable Hispanic, Latino Greensboro residents. What do you think we can do to do more?
I think, well, Latinos, they come from all walks of life. It's not only like we try to put them all in a box sometimes, and it's easier to stereotype and just say Hispanics work constructions. They work the fields. But we have Latinos and Hispanic here that are professionals serving in the medical field, first life responders. We have professors at different universities and colleges. Yes, we have skilled workers building houses and building roads and working the fields, but not everyone is there.
Absolutely.
So we need to be intentional. Intentional, that's my word. We need to be intentional about not only recognizing the people up here, because to be honest, I have met some of the greatest people in some of the humble places that I go. So I think that if we open our eyes and just look at them too, they have so much to offer. They have so much to give and make this community a better place.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you. And I'm looking forward, as we talked about, partnering even more with the city of Greensboro. I know we did a mass distribution a while back and that went well. What are some of those projects that you mentioned a few minutes ago that you all have been doing to kind of get out into the community a little bit more?
Well, we are a church. So building faith, relationships, spiritual growth with the people, that's our top priority. But we don't want to stop there. We don't want to just be the place for you to come and worship and celebrate. We want to be involved with this community. We want to be a resource place for our community. Just to give you some information, we have been giving food to the needy people of this area, or whoever feels like they need something. We partner with Out of the Garden, which is a great nonprofit in Greensboro, and together we have given more than £1 million of food in these 6 months.
It was that much.
We prepare a hot meal for every person coming, going through the lines here. So we want to be that resource place. We want to be a counseling place. People come here and get good counsel. We do blood drives. We've been COVID testing people here several times in combination with the city and with Cone. We did a mask distribution with the city of Greensboro. We've been doing racial unity conversations in English and in Spanish. We put so much effort in leadership in the next generation. So we don't want to be just that place where people says, I'm going to sing a few songs to God and learn, listen to a message. We want to be way more than that.
Absolutely.
And that's what we've been doing. We're just about to open a medical clinic here.
Oh, wow.
Which is going to be a great resource for this community.
Absolutely.
So many people around here, they're in need of good and affordable medical care.
They are. Oh, that is so wonderful. And I see behind us your missions and outreach, and that's exactly what you said. You're trying to give that spiritual growth, but also even more community outreach, which is so awesome. So awesome.
We do missions in South America, Central America, Europe, in different places, Asia, but we don't want to forget our field, which is right here, next door, our neighbors.
Oh, that's so wonderful, Pastor. Thank you, thank you. And my last question to you is, how should we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month? Because I know we've talked about the celebration all year, but what should we do in this September 15th to October 15th? What do you think should be done?
Yeah. Well, I know we can throw a party.
Absolutely.
And bring some traditional piñata, or maybe grab some Mexican food from a Mexican restaurant. And that's great, and that is fine. We can visit a locally owned Latino business and invest there. But also, I think that we can celebrate diversity. I mean, we have such a large diversity in Greensboro, and I think that Latino, Hispanic community is bringing much more diversity into this city. Greensboro has been hit by racial diversity, and we have a history in the past of, well, we know the history of Greensboro, right?
Absolutely.
So I think it's about time to celebrate diversity, not see each other as the enemy or competence. We can celebrate and be intentional, teach our kids to respect each other and honor a difference that we have. We need to start home, but we need to be intentional. What about becoming friends?
No matter what you look like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Inviting home. I know COVID is changing everything and we need to be more careful, but still we can be friends. We can bring them to our front yard, backyard, and celebrate this diversity. So as a pastor, I believe that we were all created equal in God's image. So we have the same opportunities, the same resources, the same rights, the same opportunities. So we are in this place. We are in Greensboro. I call Greensboro my home. I have lived more time in America, in North America, in the United States, than in my own country, which is Mexico.
And where are you from? Mexico. Okay,
Mexico.
I forgot to ask you that.
Mexico.
Okay.
So this is my home. My daughters were born here. I met my wife in Texas, but
this is home.
We got married and we moved to North Carolina. We've been here for so many years, so we need to celebrate and be intentional about this diversity that we have.
Absolutely. Well, Pastor, I already talked to you. We are going to be intentional together. We already have started talking about some plans, but we're going to keep it going. So thank you so very much for your conversation, for allowing us to come and visit the church. And again, thank you for all your work you're doing in the community. Thank you.
God bless you. And here we are to serve this community.
Thank you. Welcome to this edition of The One. The One is an intimate conversation with City of Greensboro employees that are working to create a culture of oneness in our organization and our city. This conversation will allow you to get to know them and hear their thoughts on their journey to create One Greensboro. Our employee this month for Hispanic Heritage Month is Jose Colon. Hi, Jose. How are you?
Hey, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So glad we could finally sit down and just have a little chat to get to know Jose and to talk about Hispanic Heritage Month. So I'm so excited. So first question, just tell us a little bit about you and your role here at the City of Greensboro.
Yes, a little about me. I was actually born in Puerto Rico and moved to North Carolina when I was 10 years old, and I've been living in North Carolina ever since. As far as my role here in the city, I am a senior planner with the Long Range and Strategic Planning Division within planning. And my main focus is redevelopment efforts. Some of that involves working directly with neighborhoods to make sure that the residents are engaged, working with other departments to carry out public infrastructure projects, and also working with the development community to create affordable housing.
Wow, that's a lot. It sounds like you stay busy.
I stay busy, and every day is different. I'm never working on the same thing.
And I bet that's fine. It's kind of like me. We have a lot in common because every day is different, but it seems like it's the same.
Absolutely. It makes it challenging, but it's interesting.
But it's a good challenge. So with that, what would you say is your most interesting project that you're working on right now?
I would say the most interesting and greatest project that I've worked on is the Greensboro Comprehensive Plan, GSO 2040, which was recently adopted back in June. I had a great time working through the project, and I also helped design the full document. So I was able to bring my graphic design expertise into it, which was great. And now we're working at the implementation stage of the project. So we're working on how to carry out that vision that we promised. So it's very interesting seeing what's going to come to fruition out of the implementation work.
Wow, I bet that took a lot of work in months past to get it to where it is now. Is that on the website that people can find it?
It is. You can find the comprehensive plan in the planning department website.
Perfect, perfect. So with all that being said, who inspires you? I know you said you came at the, here at 10 years old, you said. So who inspires you? Who has inspired Jose throughout your lifetime?
Absolutely. I would have to say my parents are a big inspiration. Not only have they been big cheerleaders of mine and are the reason I'm here today, they've also given me a good mindset of how I should think when I get older and where I want to be in life.
If you could swap places with someone for one day, anybody, who would that be?
I would have to say anybody who's sitting in front of a beach right now, somewhere in the Caribbean, because the temperature drop is, I'm not liking it.
I'm not liking it either. I'm a spring, summer type person.
Me too.
Okay, all right, okay. So you just want to go somewhere warm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Can I come when you go?
Hey, let me know.
All right, we'll go together. How can we celebrate Hispanic Americans here at the City of Greensboro? What can we do to celebrate the culture?
Absolutely. Hispanic Heritage Month is extremely important, and it gives Latin Americans an opportunity to highlight the successes and accomplishments of our community, but also the impact that we have in this nation. As a what it means for City of Greensboro, we have such a diverse Hispanic population.
We do.
We have Puerto Ricans, we have people from Mexico, Guatemala, Bolivia, Brazil, and that's just only to name a few. So hopefully we use Hispanic Heritage Month to highlight how diverse and colorful the Hispanic community is on its own.
Wonderful, wonderful. And my last question is, how can we create a true One Greensboro culture here in the entire city of Greensboro? If you could just wave a wand and say, One Greensboro is everywhere, especially when it comes to Hispanic heritage, Latinx culture, what would you say that would be? What could we do?
I would have to say the first thing is to create spaces where we can all share how we feel about being part of a particular group and being a City of Greensboro employee. And I think the employee resource groups that we've created last year create a great setting for us to have conversations where we can talk to people in a similar group or in different groups and learn different perspectives. Secondly, and most importantly, we have to listen and participate. Once we are in these groups, take in what people think and their different perspectives. And I think if we all do that, we're striving for a One Greensboro culture.
Wonderful. And not to mention, you are one of the co-chairs of that employee resource group, and you all have done some great work, because if I recall, maybe 2-3 months ago, you did a mask giveaway, and that was widely successful in the community. So are you speaking of projects such as that?
Absolutely. In the beginning of the pandemic, we knew that the Hispanic population was severely affected by COVID-19. And employees in the employee resource group for Latinx and Hispanic group, we wanted to take an effort and go out to the community and make a difference. So we partnered with churches to give away over 700 masks. And we also went to businesses that serve the Latinx population, Hispanic population, and make sure that they have signage on COVID guidelines in English and in Spanish.
So important, so important. And now you're tackling the census information as well, too, and working with people in the community as far as that's concerned.
Absolutely.
So I am so thrilled that you are one of the co-chairs. When we asked and you said yes, I was thrilled. And I'm just so happy that you are a City of Greensboro employee. And thank you for your participation today and your being the one. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. October brings Global Diversity Awareness Month to remind us of the positive impact a diverse workforce of men and women can have on a society. More and more, the world becomes a place where cultures and customs come together. Each October, we celebrate Global Diversity Awareness Month and pay tribute to the diverse minds and beliefs held by all cultures around the world, including the City of Greensboro. The Office of Equity and Inclusion is committed to the development and implementation of a comprehensive diversity strategy designed to promote inclusion by recognizing, accommodating, and appreciating individual differences and how they can be used as a source of strength in meeting the City of Greensboro's strategic goals. And now I'm going to be speaking with one of my favorite people. We've been chatting all week, Yubi Aranda Sandoval, and we will be talking here at one of my alma maters, the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, talking about Hispanic Heritage Month and exactly what it means to her and some of the activities she's involved with. Yubi, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Good. And I love it. We're outside. It's a beautiful day, and we're behind our alumni house.
Yes.
Yes.
What a great place to be at. It feels great out here.
It does. It does. So tell us a little bit about your job here first at UNCG, if you don't mind.
Sure. So I am one of the assistant directors here in the Office of Alumni Engagement. I work with our alumni closely, bringing them back home to bring in their talents, to talk about, what their journey is like now or before launching into their professional career. And we touch on many different things, career professional development, family events, and diversity and inclusion programs, as well as growing our Latinx alumni affinity groups.
Yes.
So I am working with a lot of different programs that I'm excited, I am passionate about, and that makes my job a whole lot more fun.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I love that Latinx employee resource group because we have one at the City of Greensboro. I know one of your friends, Isabel Gill, is our leader at Greensboro, and we have Conexion is what we named ours. So hopefully we'll be working together. I can't wait to.
I am sure we will.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Sure.
Well, let's talk about Hispanic Heritage Month,
Sure.
which we are currently in. Why does Hispanic Heritage Month span the 2 months? Why is that?
So it's not any new news that Hispanic Heritage Month begins with the Independence Day of 5 countries. Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and Nicaragua. It's launched on September 15th when their Independence Day is, and then it foils into other Independence Day. Mexico follows on September 16th, and then Chile also follows on September 18th, and then it kind of wraps up with Dia de la Raza. I like to call it Dia de la Raza instead of Columbus Day.
Yes.
So
I do too. De la Raza. De la Raza.
De la Raza, yes.
Yes, I think
Dia de la Raza.
Okay.
And so that's October 12th. That's another celebration. It first began as a week-long celebration in 1968.
Yes.
And so then it became an official month-long celebration when President Ronald Reagan established it in 1988.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, I bet some of our viewers did not know all of that. Now, this is a question that many people discuss all the time. What's the difference between Hispanic, Latino, and also Spanish? What are those differences?
So there's such a big controversy behind, what it is to be Hispanic or Latino or Spanish. So it is understood that Hispanic is those that are people who speak Spanish or come from the Hispanol, Spanish background, Spain. So these countries wouldn't include Portuguese or Brazil because they speak Portuguese. So I'm sorry, Portugal or Brazil because they speak Portuguese. And so this would just only include the Spanish-speaking countries for Hispanics. Latino, it can include Brazil because it is part of Latin America. So being Latino can also enclose Brazil in that sense. Being Spanish it could be either being of, the language that you speak is Spanish, or being directly linked to Spain. I am directly from Spain, born, raised, or just born or of background of Spain, Spanish parents. Yeah.
And how about here in America with Hispanic and Latinx or Latino? Is there a preference, or is it just kind of like African American and Black? Is it kind of in that same bucket as well?
Yes, it can be used interchangeably.
Okay.
Latinx is more inclusive. This became a popular word for millennials because it was a more inclusive word. Coming from the Latino background or Spanish speaking background, it is heavily emphasizes on the gender.
Absolutely.
And so it's either you're Latina or Latino, there's no in between. And so we decided to create this term, Latinx.
With the X, yes.
Yeah. So it is a more inclusive term that we use in some of our grassroots activist places, and even now in higher ed that we are using it as well, in other industries as well.
Absolutely. And we use it at the City of Greensboro. So yes, it is coming along. How have Hispanics, Latinos, Latinx, the culture, how has the contribution been? What would you say have been some key contributions in society, and especially maybe here in Greensboro as well too?
We contribute in many ways to the U.S., to Greensboro. So again, going back to the 1990s, there was a growth in the Latino community or Latinx community when the textile was, booming here in Greensboro, High Point, Lexington area. And so there was an influx of Latino immigrants and here, and so we began contributing economically here in North Carolina, and that then it shaped out to be more cultural. We brought not just our food, but our festivities, and even here in now at UNCG, the international day that we have here on campus in April. Yes. We bring our dresses, we bring our dances, we bring everything that we are just so proudly of. And so it's not just a contribution of economic, it's a richer contribution than that of just bringing who we are.
Yes, and the culture, like you said, which is so important, just bringing that. So kind of to wind down, I know you're very involved in one of the local organizations here. How is that group kind of moving the Latino culture forward here in Greensboro? If you want to talk about what that group is.
Sure. So I'm part of the Latino Community Coalition here in Greensboro. And for the past years, we have been part of what we like to recognize Latino leaders across industries, and their work, highlighting their work, highlighting what they do day to day, because sometimes, many times, they go way beyond what their job duty calls.
Right. And unnoticed. I'll add that for you. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And so we celebrate them with a gala. We recognize them every year. We done a gala to celebrate them and their contributions to the Greensboro community, as well as giving scholarships to students, especially those that are affected with DACA, and that aren't able to get in-state tuition.
Absolutely.
And so I was affected personally. I was a DACA recipient, and I remember having to go through those barriers of paying out-of-state tuition. So seeing a organization that can give back in that way, to me, means the world.
Absolutely.
So the Latino Community Coalition has grown tremendously in just highlighting our professionals here in Greensboro and what they are doing for our community.
Wonderful. Well, Yubi, I thank you so much for what you're doing here at the university, in general in the community, and just continuing to move forward the Hispanic, Latino, Latinx community. Because with my name, Maria, people get confused all the time. So I claim all cultures and all ethnicities.
I confess, I was like, Maria sounds very Spanish.
Exactly. It did. But I'm named after my grandmother, Marie. But I just thank you so very much for talking with us today, and I know our audience will be enlightened by everything you said. So thank you so much.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you
guys. Thank you.